On the day Aster fell, the lords of the council offered me, their young king, to the Black King of the North. The Black King had a strange habit. Every night he had to hold me while he slept. I could not take it, so I ran. I did not get far. Kael Lovar caught me by the waist and said in a low voice,
"Be my queen."
With great courage, I said, "No." He was quiet for a moment.
"Then you be king,"
he said,
"and I will be queen." "Why are you so greedy, little star?"
The man's low voice still seemed to be pressed against my ear. I sat up in bed with a start. The man was gone. There were only the heavy bed curtains, the cold fireplace, and the gray-blue morning beyond the window. That dream again. Ever since I came back from outside the palace a few days ago, I had dreamed of it again and again.
Your Majesty, do not be afraid. Dreams are not real.
Milo had been sleeping on the little cot near the foot of my bed. When he heard me cry out, he came running before he even had his shoes on. I am fine. My face burned. Then I felt the cold dampness beneath me and wished I could hide inside the stone wall. I gritted my teeth. I want a bath! Milo looked alarmed.
You came back from outside with a fever, and it only broke last night. You cannot catch another chill. Let me wipe you down, all right?
I pulled the blanket up to my chest. My voice was as stiff as ice on the castle wall. I want a bath.
Your Majesty, truly you cannot. Your health.
I grabbed a pillow and threw it at him. I said I want a bath. Everyone in this palace treats me like I am not a king. Are you going to do the same? Milo froze. The next moment, he jumped up and ran out, calling for hot water, the copper tub, and clean linen towels. I sat on the bed, clutching the blanket. My ears felt hot enough to smoke. I was stubborn. I took the bath. I got another fever. At the royal council the next morning, I sat high on the throne, my head stuffed with wet wool. By rule, the lords were not supposed to stare at the king's face. So I used that rule well. I slouched on the throne and even closed my eyes. Just a short nap. After all, Lucian Hawthorne handled every matter in the kingdom, large or small.
Your Majesty, this old servant has a matter to report.
The booming voice rang like a church bell and almost made me slide off the throne. It was Scholar Aldrich. The old man was always stern and loved finding fault with me. I quickly sat up straight. Speak. Scholar Aldrich dropped to his knees below the stone steps, his white beard trembling.
Your Majesty is of age and should rule in your own right. Regent Duke Lucian Hawthorne's ambition is plain. I beg your Majesty to take back your power and restore the court.
The hall went so quiet that I could hear the charcoal cracking in the braziers. Many people stole glances at Lucian, who stood at the head of the lords. He wore a deep purple coat embroidered with the thorn crest of House Hawthorne. He looked elegant, calm, and completely unmoved. But I knew what kind of cruelty lived under that polished surface. I looked at the old scholar kneeling below and said impatiently, Scholar Aldrich is old and confused. I cannot manage without the Regent Duke. Guards, send him back to his estate to retire. Go home, old man. Go home quickly. At least at home you might live. After that, my name as a foolish and useless king grew even louder, but I did not care. Everyone already knew I was empty-headed, a pretty puppet placed on a throne. People in Aster had a saying, Hawthorns are iron, kings are water. My father and my grandfather had both been puppets of House Hawthorne. I was only carrying on the family business. Nothing to be ashamed of.
Your Majesty, it is time for your medicine.
After the council ended, I returned to my chamber. Milo came over carefully with a bowl of dark herbal tonic. It looked bitter, so I turned away.
Little Star, why are you being bad again?
A cool male voice sounded suddenly. Lucian took the bowl from Milo and came to me. He reached out and caught my chin. Oomph. The bitter tonic poured into my mouth. My tongue went numb, and tears sprang to my eyes from the taste.
Do not throw a fit.
After he fed me the medicine, Lucian wiped the corner of my mouth with his thumb, then cleaned his hands with slow care.
I have punished Samuel and Gavin. They will not bother you again.
He looked up at me.
As for you sneaking out with them, I have not settled that with you yet. Aster, do not make me angry again.
Samuel and Gavin had bullied me since we were children. I only escaped them for a few years when I was sent to the northern kingdom of Vald as a hostage. But 3 years ago, my father trusted an alchemist's potion for long life, drank it, and died. The other heirs to the throne also disappeared one after another. So I, the prince no one wanted, was brought back to be king. Even after I became king, they could still bully me. A few days ago, it was my birthday. Samuel and Gavin dragged me out of the palace, saying they wanted to celebrate. They took me to an underground tavern in the city, the Southwind Raven. The place was dim. Wine, perfume, and cheap candles mixed in the air until my head hurt. Why bring me here? I'm going back to the palace. I pulled free from Gavin's hand. Gavin smiled and pushed a cup of wine to my lips.
That is not your choice.
Samuel hooked an arm around my neck.
Sing for us. I hear the northern nobles still miss your voice. You really are like that singer mother of yours?
He clicked his tongue.
A singer's son, pretending to be a king.
Anger flashed through my head. Maybe the wine was too strong. Maybe I had held back too long. I forgot to act weak and slapped them hard. They passed out. I was not doing much better. Holding my aching palm, I stumbled away and shoved open a random door.
Who is there?
A man's cold voice came from inside the room. The next moment, he seemed to freeze.
Little star. My little star came into my dream.
His voice turned low and rough, almost shaking.
I missed you so much. So soft. So sweet. I like this dream so much.
He turned me over and over and over. I felt ashamed. Before the man who kept calling me Little Star or the Hawthorne brothers woke, I cleaned up every trace that I had been there and fled back to the palace. I told no one that I had been mistaken for some pretty tavern plaything. I cleaned myself up. Only after the marks faded did I let Milo come close to serve me again. Now, Lucian set down the white cloth he had used to clean his hands.
Rest well, Your Majesty. You do not need to attend council for the next few days.
With that, he left. The moment he was gone, Milo put a candied fruit into my mouth. So sweet, but I was still sick and limp. Seeing that I looked dull, Milo began telling me gossip he had heard from the servants.
I heard an old duchess in the west ran off with a young knight and left her wig in the stable.
I said, wow.
And a court doctor in a small kingdom nearly cut off his own manhood to prove his loyalty.
I said, whoa. Milo saw that I was listening, so he grew even more excited.
And the Black King of the North has grown even madder lately.
I pricked up my ears.
They say he sleeps every night holding a silver nameplate. He keeps saying the name of someone from the south in his sleep. He even wants to send envoys to bring that person north to be his queen.
I said, huh. As kings went, it seemed I was not the most ridiculous one. In the east, one king locked his own brother in a tower. In the west, one king stole his son's bride-to-be. And an island king once got drunk and rode naked through the market. Now the Black King of the North was mad too. How nice, I might be useless. But at least I was the most normal. Still, sometimes I envied them. At least they had the nerve to be mad. A few days later, my fever passed. I returned to the royal council. I sat on the cold throne and served as a proper decoration. I defer to the Regent Duke. Lucian may decide. The Regent Duke is right. Then an old man stepped out, trembling. I drew in a sharp breath. I was truly afraid of old men like this. Each one feared death less than the last. Each one wanted me to stand up and fight Lucian. But I did not have that ability. I had not read many books. I was not clever. My only loyal person was Milo.
Your Majesty.
Lord Chamberlain Brant stepped forward.
Your Majesty has been crowned for 3 years, yet no royal marriage has been arranged. The kingdom is concerned. We believe your Majesty should choose a noble lady to wed, to secure the royal line and the alliances of the great houses.
The old man had a heavy northern accent. He spoke a long string of words. I caught one word and lost two, so I nodded as usual. The Regent Duke may decide. Lucian stood where he was, the corner of his mouth lifting slightly.
And what does your Majesty think?
His Majesty had not understood. His Majesty nodded blindly. Anything is fine. Anything. Only after the council ended did Lucian send over a thick stack of portraits of noble ladies. Then I understood. That old man had been pushing me to marry.